It is safe to say that the current administration is actually running America on behalf of other countries, be it on behalf of Benjamin Netanyahu or on behalf of Vladimir Putin. Hey folks, John here. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back once again to This Will My Take, where the headlines meets real talk. How you guys doing, folks? I first of all want to start by wishing you a great week. It's Monday, and then I will apologize for not being consistent. For the past couple of days, I've been having a chronic situation of sciatic nerves, and it's not been letting me do a whole lot. Anybody who knows about sciatic nerve, you know exactly how that stuff hurts. But we're going to keep rolling. This is Monday. We're going to try to put in the work. Folks, I want us to talk about something real quick. Ever since Donald Trump came back into the White House for his second term, it's been one distraction, one scandal, one situation to the next. And then the whole Epstein file situation, which this man promises base that immediately he gets back into office, he's going to release the list of all the Democratic pedophiles that were on that list. But we all know how things turned out. It turns out that this man was actually informed by his own DOJ that, his name is all over the Epstein files. And that Mr. Epstein files has clearly stated that both of them were best of buddies. Now, folks, in an attempt to try to just move away from some of these scandals, we have seen Donald Trump do a whole lot of crazy things, which to the normal thinking human being is like a red flag. But we are in an era where the far right, the MAGA base, they really do not care, because there have been reports on polling showing that majority of Republicans do not really care if Donald Trump was a sex offender, if this man was involved with the child raping ring led by, Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't really care, because these folks, we all know that they are not the brightest of minds when it comes to that intelligence in America. Folks, I want to say this. The recent situation of this man having a summit in Alaska with Vladimir Putin and try to come up with a solution for the war between Russia and Ukraine. We've seen all that drama pan out and play out. But there's one thing that has remained constant, and there's one thing that people will keep asking, and they are still asking for, and that is the release of the Epstein's files. Mind you, all of these little things that Donald Trump has been doing is just to shake the American public from actually calling for the release of the Epstein's file. And a couple of hours ago, ladies and gentlemen, we heard that just 3% of those things were released to Congress. And we all know that this man's administration, they are doing everything at their best to shield and protect this old pedophile. Yes, I call him a pedophile because he's part of the ring. And if he knows that is not true, if he knows that he's not a pedophile, if he knows that he's not on any sex offender list when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein's, release the file so that the American people can see. You would be surprised. There are some pretty smart people in America than majority of the MAGA base. Now, I know that this is going to pull the nerve with some of the MAGA base and some of the Trump supporters. But this is what I'm saying. Ever since pressure has been mounting for the release of the Epstein files, we have seen this man try to take the country into so many directions. But the thing is this, the American people, even his own base, about 10% of his own base, they are calling and they want those files to be released, because we need to see. Now, the funny thing is, this man doesn't know that the more he tries to derail the American people, the more guilty he looks. I mean, how can you just imagine that you would tell your base, people who are not the brightest per se, but these people, you know how court work. When they lash onto something, they will not let it go until they get some kind of closure. And the closure that those MAGA base fans that are calling for the release of the Epstein file want is for you to release the files in entirety. Don't give us 3%. Don't give us what we already know, like what Penn Bondi did with a bunch of these far-right influencers when they went to the White House to meet Donald Trump. She gave them a docket of files, but it was already stuff that was already in public domain. Now, remember I said that it seems as if in the beginning of this video, the current administration is actually ruling America on behalf or for the benefit of other countries. And I did mention that Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel is one of those countries that is actually colonizing politics in America. And the other country that this administration, especially Donald J. Trump, is ruling for, he's vouching for, is Vladimir Putin. We saw posters and videos of his meeting with this man in Alaska, and we saw how this man, just like a cheerleader, was actually clapping for Vladimir Putin. Get this, folks, I have nothing wrong against Vladimir Putin, let me just say this, but to think that an American president in this time and age, in this era, will be kissing up to Vladimir Putin, to Kremlin's ass, is a day I thought that I would never ever see. But it is manifesting right now, and by who? Led by who? Donald J. Trump. There is a video recently came up on my feed about the president of FIFA. We all know the situation of FIFA, the World Cup that is supposed to come up next year between America, Canada, and somewhat Mexico. And the whole visa restriction situation which has been floating online, and this man not trying to let a couple of teams come in, especially the beef he has with the Brazilian president, and the holding of accountability, the former guy. This man was in the White House probably to talk about these things. But guess what Donald J. Trump wanted to talk about? Donald J. Trump wanted to vouch for his buddy. Donald J. Trump wanted to vouch for his master, because this man has Donald J. Trump on a leash, just like a dog master is, walking his own dog. And I don't want to say much. This is what Donald J. Trump decided to talk about, and this man had a picture in hand. Let's just watch what he decided to talk about.
And I was just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him. Okay of me, but nice of him. So that was.
Well, folks, you guys saw it. Now, I don't know what the conversation between Mr. Infantino was, the president of FIFA, but I know damn well that it had nothing to do with Vladimir Putin. And the fact that Donald J. Trump, look at how, sometimes I feel sorry for this guy, like for real though. I just feel like this man, this grown man, he can't even make decisions on himself. He cannot stand on principles. But then at 80 years old, I know he's 79, he's about to hit 80. That's why I use 80. At 80 years old, this man cannot change. That's just who Donald J. Trump is. And to see this man just try to let the world see how good Vladimir Putin is, I don't know what MAGA fans are thinking. I don't know if you're that smart to understand that. This man has he is just rubbished the White House in the face of majority of Europeans. Forget about European politicians. A whole lot of Europeans don't trust Americans no more. Trust me. And the world is starting to see exactly the kind of regime, the kind of administration that this man is putting in the White House. And I must say this to end this vlog, folks. The world is so complicated, but we will keep talking about it. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. And let me know exactly what you think down in the comment section. Do you think that the president of FIFA was comfortable with this man trying to promote and push and let the world see Vladimir Putin in a positive light? And why is he doing so much so that the world can embrace Vladimir Putin? Why is this man doing so much? That's my time, folks.